the best I've ever heard Bill Arender, and I've heard Bill Arender a lot.
Yeah, he was
fired up. Show me what do you say? He said, show me a man who's not interested in making more money. I'll show you a wife that wishes he was. Folks, that's incredible. You know how many people I see who, you know, I'm so busy. I'm umpiring softball. I don't have time to make big money. And wife is going to work at a job she hates, dropping the kids off, barely making ends meet. And so that was incredible. Blake Whittle's 90-day madman. I mean, that's a big deal. So listen, guys, we got recruiting going on right now like crazy. I've never seen anything like it. We recruited 14 yesterday on the team, 12 the day before. So we're like double-digit recruiting every day. Remember they talked about double-digit recruiting? Right. And we're double-digit recruiting every day. Okay, so this month, we've talked about it's going to be one of the most explosive months we've ever had, but this is going to be a record-breaking recruiting month, and that's what you need if you want to do something big this year, right? You've got to have new people if you want to go to a new level, right? Okay, because listen, your current people, the only chance you got of getting bigger with your current people is they get better and get what? More people. Okay? So we can't be fooled about what game we're playing. Right? We are in the people, building, and distribution business. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Sweet. Okay, so we're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about building teams. We're going to talk about overcoming objections to getting people started. But before we do that, I just got a couple of announcements. Number one is convention. Listen, y'all. The company is having it's just getting slammed with convention registration right now. They don't have any rooms in our block. They're all gone. So we've gotten you as many as we can. But if you're not registered for convention yet, you need to get registered now. The company's working on, by the end of the week, having another block open. Okay, but we can't, I've never seen it like this with the fast registration that we've had. I've done, I don't know, 5 or 6 conventions. If you have people that aren't registered, you need to get them registered so we can get them a room, because they're not going to be rooms. By the end of this month, they're going to be gone. Okay, and we're going to be recruiting people all the way up through the convention that are going to be coming with us. So we need to make sure we've got plenty and plenty of rooms. So we'll do that by getting registered. So how many of you are not registered for the convention? Raise your hand. He's pointing. Somebody's pointing at him. Well, who are you pointing at, Burns? Daniel been registered for convention. Oh! Daniel.
Full-timer.
The red roof. They got the heart-shaped tub. They got the heart-shaped tub. I know Danieloff's game. Okay, so listen, it's join for free January, right? But really, it's get paid to join January. So if you haven't figured this out, I'm messaging people right and left, y'all, on Facebook. You need to. So I see you guys flooding the news feeds. That's cool. Now you need to spend the rest of the month sending personal messages to people. Hey, we have a special incentive this month. It's get paid to join January. We'll pay you $76 to join our company in the month of January. So how does it work for you detail-oriented people? They still pay the $124. They go to class. They do their 1-by-1. What they used to get the $100 refunded from, right? They're getting $200. So they go to class, do 1-by-1, they're getting $200. So they pay $124, they get $200. How much is that? $76, right? Okay. So you need to be talking to everybody. Man, join now, get in, start the year right, get paid to join January. You should have the biggest recruiting month that you've ever had. Denise.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I need you to clarify when I was watching the POL. Is it true anyone that you've recruited that does a 1-by-1 in January is getting $100?
Yes, so let's explain this real quick. So there's a reason I don't get on a conference call and try to explain what I'm about to explain to you, because it's real bizarre and there's about 1,800 variations of it.
Hey, come on, dude. His ringtone, just so you know, is very fine. Just so you know, you use that. I know you will.
That's how it's going. Your one is in.
All right. All right, bring it back in. So this is true. So what the company said is if you've joined in the last 2 years, since we had the fast start bonus, which was 1-by-1 and go to class in 30 days. So if you joined in the last 2 years and you didn't do that, you missed your opportunity to do that. The company is reopening it for the month of January, not for $100, for $200.
Right.
Okay? So you had somebody, they joined 6 months ago, they didn't really get started. They can get started again, and all they have to do is fulfill what they missed So let's say they went to class, they did a recruit, they didn't get a sale. What do they need to do? Just get a sale, and the company's going to pay them $200. They just have to fill in the missing piece. Do you understand?
Only on the first one by one?
Only on the first one by one. It's not eligible for the second group. Okay? So, if you're an RVP, you got emailed a list of everybody in your downline that has this. So I sent out today text messages. I have 20 people. Say, I want to know more, or I'm willing to start, or whatever. Okay.
What did you say?
I just, I sent.
What did you say?
Here's what I said. Here's what I said. I'll show you what I said.
All he needs to say is, hey, this is Ian.
No, not at all, right? Because guess what? 90% of them, you never brought them here. They don't know who I am. Yeah. Because that's why they didn't do anything. Because you didn't plug them into our system. You recruit them, you're like, hey, I got a recruit, see you later. Okay, nobody send me inappropriate text messages, by the way. That is later, but it's not going to be up there. Okay.
10 to 11, I know.
Okay.
Can you post this to full-timers?
I can, but it's just gigantic, so it doesn't fit in one screen. Okay? So, this is what I'm sending out. Hey, Craig, this is Ian Prukner with Primerica. I'm the Senior National Sales Director out of the Auburn Hills office. I know at one point you were thinking about doing some work with us. Just out of curiosity, would you be interested in making an extra $200 in January? It's a $200 cash bonus available only to unlicensed people, only available for the month of January. I figured I'd reach out to you personally and let you know if you could use the cash. By the way, if you're interested in more, I can help you make $3 to $5K this month. Let me know. Guess what he responds?
That's awkward.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, so guess what? If you're in my base, I got all this. Okay? So if I get your people, we splitting them. Okay? If I got to go back and re-recruit your people for you, I'm splitting them with you. Okay? But guess what? 50%. Hey, 50% of something is
better than nothing.
50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, y'all. That's what you got them to do. So let me see what I can get them to do. Okay? But if you're an RVP or you're not in my base, you need to talk to your RVP and say, hey, are you sending these out? Because there are people, tons of people that are willing.
Go back to the beginning of the text, please.
There are tons of people who are wanting to be able to do this. Okay? So again, what you should be sending out to everybody on Facebook by private message. Copy, paste, put in their name. If you really want to be good, put in a personalized touch, a first sentence that's different, and then send it out. Hey, just thinking about you. Our company's running an incentive for January only. You get paid $76 to join our business. It doesn't cost you anything. You get paid to join. You should get in. What do you think? Boom.
Do you have a Facebook message you can put on the screen to show us? Or no?
I don't, because I'm not sending them yet.
Okay.
Yep, I'm working through this first, and then I'm going through. If they already said yes once, they're more likely to say yes again, right? Okay, so I'm taking the hottest market first, and then I'm running through everybody else. Okay? All right. So everybody understand this? Y'all see it? Okay. Scroll up. Wonderful. Just take a picture. Two pictures. Takes very quickly. Okay, so listen, so it is get paid to join January. You should have a breakout recruiting month. Okay? So what's our, here, hold this 1 second. So what's our process, y'all? Here's where most of you are messing this up. Okay? So you recruit them at the IBA. You do what? You schedule class and what? Orientation. How many of you would be willing to admit, I'm not confident that I can do a great orientation exactly how you do it? Raise your hand if you're not confident. Who should be doing your orientations? Your RVPs, your uplines. File them through to the upline, right? Because guess what? You got the person, so get them to somebody that knows what to do with them. Right? Is everybody following that? Okay. So at the orientation, what do you do?
Schedule follow-up.
Okay? You do what? You schedule to the meeting. What if they're a silent partner? You schedule them to the meeting. Right? How? So Chris, I know you're not interested in working the business actively, but I do need you to come to at least one Tuesday and one Friday so you can see what we do, you meet some of the people, and so that you can be a cheerleader for the people that I recruit for you, because they're not going to do anything without your support. So just one of each, okay? So you can do that, right? Okay, perfect. Can I schedule you for Friday? Great. Let's get out your calendar and put it in. I'd like to meet with you maybe a half hour earlier. We'll go out and grab a bite to eat or something really quick. Is that cool with you? Yep. Give them a reason to be to the meeting, right? Because guess what? Some of my greatest people were silent partners. They were silent partners. Dave was a silent partner, and he showed up and he said, man.
Can't shut him up now.
Yeah. He's bringing Harry Potter music up into the thing, right? Some of the best people were silent partners. We brought them to a meeting. They said, well, what do you think about maybe me getting a little more involved? Because here's a rule of thumb, okay? Write this down. People wear facades. Every person, y'all, every person that you meet that doesn't have recurring income is wearing a facade on their face. I'm happy, life is good, I'm doing well financially, I'm the man, look at my title, right? But they're wearing a facade. And on the inside, they know instinctively, I'm 2 weeks away from disaster. I'm 2 weeks away from being let go, from going on disability, from getting hurt, from it all being over. They know that. They don't like being told where to be. They don't like having to report to other adults for every move. They don't like their income being controlled. They don't like what they're doing necessarily for a living. All of them, right? So you got to bring them to the meeting so they can see they're not the only one like that, right? All of you are reformed jobbies, aren't you? You had a job, you had the facade, you saw a better way, and now you're chasing that better way, right? And so there's comfort in the mass, right? That they say, hey, maybe I'm not doing as well as I'm putting out that I'm doing. Maybe I do want recurring income. But they'll never plug into the system if you don't get them where? To the meeting. They'll never plug in.
That's true.
They'll never plug in. Okay, I've never seen in the 40-year history of Primerica somebody who got up on stage making big money said, let me tell you how I did it. I skipped all the meetings. I forgot all about the thing. I didn't like the convention, and I just went out on my own. I figured it all out, and then I just taught everybody one by one, and that's how we built this mega hierarchy. I've never met them. I've never seen them. I've never heard it once. It's never happened. You'd be the first, okay? So you got to get them to the meeting. You think, well, I don't know if they're going to like the meeting. If they don't like the meeting, then they're not going to work out here because their job is to get people to the meeting. They got to get, well, I don't like that. Well, okay, then like your title and your corporate job with no security, no ownership, and just go do that then, right? Perfect, no big deal. We're not trying to convince people to like what we do. We are what we are, y'all. Some of you be like, hey, what company are you with? Right, and you're ashamed of your company because it recruits people. But folks, that's crazy. How many of you have a job right now? Somebody recruited you. You got recruited, but you're ashamed to recruit. Well, they weren't ashamed to recruit you, right? That's how they all do it. Think about Nick Saban, just lost, right? But why does he have a dynasty? Because tomorrow, guess where he's going to be? Recruiting. If you had a national championship sports team and you stopped recruiting in 3 or 4 years, what would happen to your team? It would be the worst of the worst. Everything recruits. But some of you ashamed of that, right? You guys don't be ashamed of it. We are Primerica. You don't like that, that's okay, right? Our livelihood is not dependent on everybody liking what we do or understanding what we do. Right? I've been having some interesting conversations with these folk, right? I've had a couple of pretty interesting ones so far, and I've had a couple of pretty cool ones, right? The guy who was part owner in Andiamo or something, right? He was talking to me today. I met him through one of these. Like, hey, I'm like, hey, let's have lunch, right? Let's do. Maybe get some free food. Let's go to Andiamo, right? Okay. Yeah.
Anything for free food.
Exactly. Anything for free food. You tell me where, and I'll be there. Okay. So on the orientation, you schedule them to the meeting, and you do what? Set appointments with them. Who do you set? The hot market. The hot market. Top 5. Some of you get lists. I don't want lists. I want the best people. Right? You take me to the best people, we're going to make that happen. Right? So we set appointments. Okay? On the orientation, we schedule them to meeting. Now, once they get to the meeting, what do? We schedule them to a one-on-one. We schedule them to a one-on-one. So they're at the meeting, they're setting appointments, you're talking to them about what they want, what's in it for them, Okay, right? And on that, you schedule a one-on-one before the next meeting. And what are you doing there, Travis? You're selling the dream and setting appointments. Selling the dream and setting appointments. So you're like, well, I'm not living the dream yet. Two things. Number one, that's not true. If you're full-time, you have half of the dream, which is what? Freedom. You don't got to be there. Nobody's telling you what to do. You're waking up. Guys, listen, in the millennials, it's statistically proven, millennials would rather have more time off than more money. They want enough to be okay and more control of their time. That's the entire generation, right? Can we give that to them? Sure. Right? You make $500-600 an app. You're making $4 or $5 grand. Hey, do 2 apps a week and then do whatever the heck else you want for the rest of your week, right? Okay, if that's what you want. Okay, so if you have a full-time status here, you have half of the dream. You can sell it to them. You know, I used to walk into the church office and see John Cooper sitting behind that desk. And I'd be like, Coop, what's up, buddy? And I high-five him. He's sitting there typing in tithe and offering, right? Okay. I'd be like, hey, man, I'm going to take a nap. I'll see you later. Right? Y'all who are full-time, you need to call your people during the day when they're at work and say, hey, how's your job, Travis? Oh, it's okay. Hey, I remember when I had one of those. It really sucks. See you later, man. Bye. You got to constantly be selling the dream to them, right? You got to be selling the dream. Okay? So you sell the dream and you set appointments. You sell the dream and you set appointments. Why am I doing this? Let's get in front of some people so you know what you're doing. Why am I doing this? Let's get in front of some people so we start building you a team. Why am I doing this? Let's get you some people to give you some referrals. Right? So at the one-on-one, you book to the next meeting. See how basic this is? Meeting, one-on-one. Meeting, one-on-one. Okay? At the next meeting, what do? You sell them the dream, and you set appointments with them. And at the meeting, you book them to the next one-on-one. And what's going to happen pretty soon is Eli's going to get good at setting appointments. Right? Because he's bad. How many of you realize your people are terrible at setting appointments? How many of you realize you're terrible at setting appointments? Okay? Right? So look, that's how you get there. Now, how many of you, honestly, by a show of hands, how many of you did not have your trainer take you through a process like that? Meeting one-on-one, meeting one-on-one. How many of you did have a trainer take you through a process like that? Okay? Good. So about half the room. Imagine when everybody does that, because that's a proper way. You get touched. Art Williams said what? It takes 15 hours to recruit somebody. Now, for the poor soul that spent 15 hours before he gets an IBA, I feel bad for the appointments you're running, right? Like, I was there from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., right? Okay? Trying to get an IBA. That's not what Art meant. He meant it takes 15 hours to really get somebody to know what we do, why it's good, what's in it for them, and to be really sold on our business. So how do you pass that time with them? Meeting, one-on-one, meeting, one-on-one, meeting, one-on-one. Right now you say, well, I'm not full-time and I'm not making big money yet. What do I talk to them about? And the answer is you talk to them about your what? Your vision, where you're going. See, it's not your job to tell people what you're going through. Man, my life, my childhood, my parents, my job, my chargeback, my reschedule. Okay, it's your job to tell people where you're going to, not where you're going through. Do you understand that? Right? So when I was new, I was a district leader. Some of you can't believe that. I was a district leader. I was making $1,000 a month. And I was talking about making $20,000 a month, Dave, opening my own office. I'm going to be an RVP here. I'm making $20,000 a month. Denise, I know you don't love your job. Let's do this together. It didn't matter where I was. It mattered where I was going. So do you have a clear vision? Are you talking about that on every recruiting appointment? Here's where I'm going. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to be big, right? Because listen, people need to leave you with a feeling that if they're not involved with you, they're out of their mind. If I don't get involved with Doug and Dina, I'm going to miss something. I don't know what it was, but I just felt the electricity from them at that meeting that they were on a mission. Okay, people know you're full of crap, or people know you're totally determined. One of the two. They can sniff it out. That's what they're doing to you right on that meeting. Is this guy telling me the truth? Is he really sold? Because listen, they don't want to follow somebody that's not going anywhere, right? Okay, so all that to say, today and the rest of this month is get paid to join month. Right? So that was announcement number 1, okay? Okay, announcement number 2 is we have Vegas 2.0, right? Or Relentless does Vegas, the 2nd annual. How many of you were on the Vegas trip with us? Okay, Burns, what was the Vegas trip like?
Amazing.
Why?
Because we got to hang out with all the people that you don't normally get to hang out with.
Yep, and what else?
Travel.
Fieldstead's office.
So you got to hang out with the Fieldsteads, get to meet some of their people.
There was a private panel you and him did, and he
Yep.
did a lot of questions. It was amazing.
How was the food?
Awesome. Phenomenal.
It was unbelievable, right? Okay, so you got to get to Vegas. How do you get to Vegas? 10K personal, baby.
Your suite was sweet.
Yeah, 10K personal, okay, gets you to Vegas, or being number 1 at your level gets you to Vegas, or winning the what? The wild card. So every app you do gets you an entry into the wild card, okay? So you need to fight to get to Vegas. Big time. It was so awesome. That's why we did it again. It's going to be even more awesome this time for sure, okay? So that's the 2nd announcement. 3rd announcement is what? We got 6 months to get to number 1 in Indy, right? Okay? And you all know me. We've never set a goal that we haven't hit. And I'm just so focused right now. I mean, full-timers, yes or yes. I'm on my game right now. I'm literally conditioning you all to think bigger and to have big action and big belief and to go into that event in Indy as a new RVP, as a new SVP if you're already an RVP, right, Tara? Yeah. Okay? To get there with a promotion, with a team, because listen, there's something special that happens when a team comes together to fight. Okay? There's something special that happens. An army is useless without an enemy. And we got 6 enemies ahead of us. The biggest of the big players, y'all, the biggest of the big players are ahead of us, and it's a daunting task. I look at these numbers every day, I say, dear Lord, give me belief. That's right, okay? But we're going to get there, right? Because nobody wants it like us. Nobody's willing to work like we're willing to work. Nobody's willing to discipline themselves like we're willing to discipline ourselves, right, team? Nobody's willing to do what we're willing to do. We're going to get better. We're going to get our activity up. We're going to build our belief, and we're going to recruit so many people. It's going to be unbelievable. And we will walk into that dome with 1,000 people strong as new number 1 champions. Why? Because it's heart power. And nobody believes and has passion for this business like this team. That is why your name is Relentless, right? Okay? It wasn't relent. Some of you took off the less, right? Okay? You're like, I'm on Team Relent. I set a goal and I stopped. I said I was going to set 3 and then I stopped. I said I was going to recruit 4 and then I stopped, right? So you took off the less. So you better take out that uneraser and unerase the less off of it because you are relentless, okay? So we need to be totally focused on getting that done. And we got a goal this month, a team goal of what? $350. That's where we're paying for your plane tickets to get down there. At $350, we're going to be right up underneath number 6, and we'll take them out in February. And then we're going to take out 5, 4, and 3 quickly, probably in February all together. And then 2 and 1, it's just going to be an absolute dogfight. And they're never going to picture us like the underdogs of underdogs. Okay, seriously. Picture us like they're not even taking us serious. I'm telling you the truth. They're not even taking us serious. That's how far ahead that's how much bigger those guys are than us. They're not even taking us serious. So picture like March, April, May, and June, right? These guys like March, they're starting to get a little nervous as we're climbing up there. April, they're having conference calls, the 2 of them like, what are these guys doing, right? Okay. May, it's an all-out war for that number 1 spot. I mean, that's what it's going to take. But here's what's going to happen. Right? Number 1, y'all are going to get promoted like crazy. You're going to build teams like mad. You're going to get promoted like crazy. We're going to promote RVPs like nuts, right? Okay, my goal is 10 RVPs between now and the convention. Guys, it took us 9 years to get 10, and we're going to do it in 6 months. 10 RVPs by the time we get to the convention. Who's it going to be? Who's going to discipline themselves? Don't raise your hand. Who's going to discipline themselves? Look, who's going to discipline themselves to get it done? Because it's going to take everything you got and then some. It's going to take you toughening up like you've never been tough before. It's going to take more action than you've ever had, right? But guess what? You're going to walk across that stage as a champion. You're going to walk across the stage as a champion, guys. Listen, there's people waiting to see you fail. Every one of you in this room, yes or yes. There's people who can't wait to say, I told you so. They might not say it to your face, but they'd be talking about you. They can't wait to see you fail. They can't wait to see you stop. And instead, they're going to see a big old picture of you stand up in front of 60,000 people saying, look what I did. I did it when you told me I couldn't. Folks, listen, what did I tell you at Super Saturday? I said this is about building a championship team. But it's really about building championship teams. Teams of champions, right? That's what I told you. But it's not even about that. What's it about? It's about building champions. See, champions build championship teams, and championship teams build a championship hierarchy. Say, Brooke, why do you want to be number one? All you care about is being number one. Folks, you understand number one means y'all are winning. Do you understand I can make $1 million, you'd be broke? Right? I'm not satisfied there. I'm not okay with my crew not being where they can be. You understand that? So at number one, we're promoting number ones. And guess what else we put in your mind? We gave you a picture of how to become what? Number one. Right? Listen. Right? Like father, like son. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Right? We create a championship team. That's all you know. We breed you as champions in this organization. So look, y'all, it's going to be tough. We're going to have late night conference calls. We're going to ask you to do more than you've ever done. We're going to ask you to believe more than you've ever believed. I'm going to ask you to discipline yourself more than you've ever been disciplined. And those who stay will be champions. Those who stay will be champions. That's the end of the story, right? Those who stay will be champions. So listen, I'm ready for a championship run. But excuse me if I get a little fired up and a little excited, and if I push on you a little bit because I see greatness in you. Right? Because the truth is, some of us need to be pushed. Some of us haven't ever had anybody in our life that said, Mike, you can be a champion, Mike. You can quit your job. You can stop what you're doing, and you can get free. You can become an RVP. You can deliver for what you told your wife, right? Are you capable, Mike? Sure you are. Why aren't you doing it yet? Because nobody's pushing on you enough. It's not uncomfortable enough for you, right? But you see the comfort zone and then where the magic happens. How many of you are willing to get uncomfortable to do something big? Okay? If you're not, you're in the wrong room. You should go up and talk to somebody who's going to tell you something nice, like securities and mutual funds, okay? You're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong room tonight.
Don't look at me.
You're in the wrong room tonight if you don't want to build something special. Okay? So let's talk about recruiting, all right? Everybody good with that? Yes. Let's talk about recruiting. Okay? Recruiting is a mindset. It is a mindset, and it's a sales process. Recruiting is a mindset and a sales process. If you're not recruiting 10 a month, you do not have the recruiting mindset yet. You don't necessarily understand why yet you must recruit, what the benefit of recruiting people is. So let's talk about this real quick, okay? Because the wrong mindset is going to lead us to the wrong actions, and the wrong actions are going to lead us to the wrong results. So let's clear this up. Some of you are having a hard time in this business, mostly because you don't listen, okay? But you're having a hard time. And so you think because it's tough for you, it's going to be tough for somebody else. That's one of your limiting beliefs. I'm not doing as well as I could or should, so why am I going to share that with somebody else? Because I don't want Deborah to struggle too. Are you learning things here, Deb, that are helping you?
Incredible things.
Is it helping your family?
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. Are you getting some value out of this?
Yes.
Are you where you want to be yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So guess what? Let's talk about a couple of things. Okay. If the recruit comes here and makes no dollars, it's because they didn't listen and follow our system. But let's pretend they make no dollars. Okay. They got a financial education that they did not have prior to coming to this business. Yes or yes? They learned about how to manage their own personal money. Folks, if they never made a dollar here, but they came here and learned the concepts of buy term and invest the difference, the rule of 72, debt stacking, opened a term life plan, got a mutual fund, and had an F&A done, are they better or worse off than they were when we met them? Better. By about $1 million over time. By about $1 million over time. Joining Primerica and just getting their own plan set up is $1 million difference to that person. They never make a nickel. They never make a nickel. They're $1 million better off just by having been involved for a short period of time. Okay? Watch this now. We're going to go to Money Chimp and watch some of these numbers. Because, see, some of us, we forget why we're here and what we're offering to people. Give me a second here. Let me get off the Wi-Fi and go on my own. There we go. So Money Chimp's a financial calculator. You want to sell yourself the dream, folks, go on this and play around a little bit. So let's say you get a guy comes in, and he's not making zero, he's making $500 a month. Is he a major success in Primerica? No. Nobody knows who he is. He's making $500. He has a job, because we recruit people who have jobs, right? Okay, and we show them a better way. And so he says, you know what, full-time's not for me. I don't want to be an RVP. I'm not big on this recruiting thing. But people need to know what we stand for. They need to know our concepts, because without our concepts, financially, it's going to be Armageddon in their life, right? Yes or yes? So watch this. They have no money. They begin saving $500 a month. So how much is that a year? $6,000 a year, okay? And let's say they do that for 30 years. They're 35 when they join, and they do that. They never make more than $500, but they save every dollar they make in Primerica. Why? Because it's extra money, okay? What's a good interest rate we can use, Dave, over a 30-year period of time?
10%.
Okay, let's do 10%. Now, that's a little low historically, right? 10.5, 11 is about the average. So watch this. They come in here, they work our business part-time, they learn some great things, they help some people, and they save their money. How much money is that? It's $1 million. So they learned a little bit, they made no money, they just saved the money they're making from their job, they have term insurance set a whole life, they get a plan to get out of debt and save that money, they got $1 million. They get involved with us, they make another $500 a month, now they got $2 million. The first $1 million we helped them with from what they already had, and the second $1 million they got from the $500 a month they were able to save. Okay, guys, look. Is that helping that person out? Yeah. Is that person better off? Even though they came into Primerica and you sold them this big dream and it didn't happen for them, are they better off? Yeah. They're $1 million better off. So let me ask you this question. Who else is making $1 million difference in the lives of families by getting involved with them?
No one.
Nobody, right? So why are we afraid to recruit them? Just because maybe we're not doing as well as we could or we should, or we're not treating it with the respect we should, doesn't mean that they're not going to get some value out of it, right? So they get their own financial game plan in place. They save money part-time, good or bad? Good. Right. What about leadership development? If they plug in here, are they going to learn something about becoming a better leader, a better human being, a better father, a better husband? Are they going to learn some stuff? Yes. How many of you would say you've learned some things that have been helpful in your life about being the sort of person you want to be? Folks, listen, there are people, have you ever noticed there are people who come here who never make a sale? Yeah. But they're here every week. Why? Because something about our business makes them feel better about themselves. Because we believe in them when nobody else believes in them, right? Because we give them an opportunity to grow as a human being, and they're not just a number here. They're not just a number. They build friendships. They learn great things, and they learn about themselves and how to become better leaders, and it affects every area. I could show you a message I got sent today, and somebody sent me a message saying, before Primerica, our marriage was on the rocks, and because of what we've learned in Primerica, we've never been closer. We're dreaming together, and I heard you say Primerica saves marriages, but it's helped us. Right? And so there's all these intangible benefits of people getting involved with us. Right? Okay? What about taxes? If they never make $1 here, but they save their receipts for gas and mileage and their cell phone, they're going to save some money on taxes for how long? For 3 years. IRS will let you take losses for 3 years. Okay? So they never make $1, but they just save receipts. Okay? These people are thousands of dollars a year better off. So if they just came in here and they learned a little bit, they met some nice people, they saved their receipts, and they had a couple $1,000 extra in their tax refund every year. And by the way, it wouldn't be a tax refund if they did an F&A. Right? It'd be money going into their mutual fund every month, right? Okay? They just get a tax refund. Better or worse? Better, right? Okay? So they get involved with us. They don't make any money. They make a little bit of money. They're learning some great things, right? And the last thing, what is this, the spare tire? Right? How many of I remember sitting in a meeting with John Cooper at the church that we worked at, right? And I was already not working employed with the church. I was a lay person at that point. But I remember sitting in a staff meeting with John Cooper, who is a part-time person in Primerica. And I remember them having like 25 staff people saying we're laying everybody off but 3 people. I remember John Cooper crying in the corner of that room because he just lost his job. And him going full-time by force. He didn't quit his job. John Cooper, the SVP, making $25,000, $30,000 a month. Superman, Mr. Excited, got laid off. That's how he went full-time. He didn't make this bold decision, say, I'm quitting my job, I'm a Primerica hero. No, he got laid off and was crying like a baby. He said, I guess I'm going to do this. Right? That's what happens. Guess what? Sooner or later, that's coming. I met with a lady today who used to go to the gym with my wife, knows all sorts of people. I inboxed her on Facebook about 3 weeks ago because I want to recruit her. So we've been playing back and forth. On Friday last week, she was laid off. My wife was the first person she messaged. I'm meeting with Ian on Tuesday. Tell me more about what you're doing. I said, I met her today. I've got an F&A with her and her husband tomorrow at 5. She said, we need life insurance. We don't have any. And I want to join. I want you to meet my husband. Right? Okay. From what? Because she needs a spare tire. Sooner or later, somebody's going to have an occurrence where they're going to need something like this, and they're not begging for a job like everybody else. A resume on a pack of 1,000 resumes that nobody's going to look at. Okay? So let's get over the limiting belief, right, that somehow people, you're not helping them to recruit them. Maybe they're not going to be good. They wouldn't like it. All that's a limiting belief. Listen, if they get involved with us, they're going to be better off for all those reasons. So you are doing people a huge service to recruit them into the business. A huge service. Okay? So we've got to have the recruiting mindset that people are going to be better off by being involved with us than not better off. Yes or yes? Okay?
Yes.
The second thing you need to understand on the recruiting mindset is everybody needs what we're offering. Okay? What are we offering to people? We're offering them two things. What are we offering them?
Freedom.
Control of time and money. Well, recruiting's hard. Well, not if you understand this. How is this hard? Do you want more money? Yes. Would you like to control more time? Yes, you'd be perfect. You are a candidate for what we do. Well, I don't think I'd be interested, but you just told me you were interested in more time and more money. What would you not be interested in the time or the money? Well, I'm really busy, I know, so that's why you said you needed more time, so let's get started. Right? So, isn't that simple? It's so simple, but we forget, we think recruiting's hard. I got to say the right things. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Yeah. True.
You can't say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. Right? Rick, listen, you come to work with me, I'm going to show you a system you make $20,000 to $30,000 a month in residual income in 3 to 5 years. If you could make that sort of money and not have to work for it, you would do that, right?
Yeah.
Great. See, some of you talk about the Rule 72, Primerica's publicly traded, all that. They don't care. They want to know what? Can I get my time back? Can I get control of my money? In every conversation, your mindset is, Shane needs what I have. So Shane's objecting to me. Why would he be objecting to me if he needs what I have? And the answer is he doesn't understand yet that what I have is what he needs. He hasn't connected the dots, right? We are connectors of the dots for people. Let me show you why being involved with me is going to change your life. Y'all understand that? So we've got to have this mindset when we're sitting with somebody, right? Oh, they have a good job. Please save that. I'm going to throw up in my mouth, okay? Okay. Why? Because a job can't be good. Why? Here's why.
Sorry.
Thank you.
A job can't be good because a job's formula is revenue minus expenses equals profit. And a salary, an hourly wage is a revenue. Is that money in or what?
Out.
Money out. Okay? So you're an expense. So you want, here's what you want as an employee. You want more money for doing the same or less. That's what you want. That's your goal. You want more time and you'd like more income, yes or yes? Yeah. That's really your goal. You maybe never thought about it that way, but that's your goal. I want to get more for less time. I want more vacation time and higher pay. But that's diametrically opposed to this equation. Because they're trying to limit the expenses, right? There's two ways to make more profit. What? More revenue and keep expenses the same, or what? Decrease the expenses and keep the revenue the same. Only two ways. By the way, smart business people are always doing both. How do I get you to do more for less? I had a guy in my business once, he was super sharp. This guy could have been an RVP big time. Some of you who've been here for a while, you remember this guy. Don't say his name in case it goes out on the internet here, okay? But so this guy was sharp. I mean, he was good. He could train, he could close. I mean, he came in and everybody was enamored by him. They were enamored by him, right? And so he got a good job offer with a huge company, Oracle. And they offered him a $300,000 base salary plus commissions. And he's like, bro, I just got to take it. It's too good. And you know what all you would have said? Yeah, you're right. That's a pretty good job, man, right? You should do it. You can always come back to Primerica, okay? And I'm like, no, dude, you're making a mistake. And you know what? He went and he started having some big success. In fact, his second year made $700,000. He was making more than me, right? But guess what? Guess what he's making now? $250. Why? Because they said, wait a sec, 700 grand? We're gonna change your comp structure.
You got it. You got it.
Why?
Yep.
Because somebody will come in and sell that same load of stuff for 400 grand all day long. All day long. Right? Why? So guess what? They changed the comp structure. Now he's making 250. I'm making $1 million. The difference is my $1 million going to keep coming, and his is gone because he had a good job. Okay, folks, listen. Let me tell you what. There are people in every corporation figuring out how to pay you less. Right? They're scheming right now. How do we cut your benefits? How do we transfer more costs to you? How do we stop matching your 401k? How do we get rid of our pension obligation to you? How do we limit your overtime? How do we make you not eligible for health insurance anymore? They're trying to figure out a way to bring this down, as they should. As they should. Right? Okay? So if you're an expense, you got a problem. No such thing is winning in this scenario, okay? So people want more what? More time, more money. No such thing as a good job, okay? So every person you're sitting with, Chris, you need me. I'm not telling them this, but that's how I look. That's how I carry myself. Martin, you're not interested? What aren't you interested in? Making more money and having more time? Of course you're interested in that. So I'm going to sit there and let Martin talk, and I'm going to get to the bottom of that, right? I'm going to push on those buttons until Martin realizes, like, hey, I'm not as happy as I thought. You got to expose the nightmare to sell the dream. You got to expose the nightmare to sell the dream. Right? Everybody understand this? So this is the mindset you've got to be operating with in recruiting. So let's talk about recruiting, okay? Were you raising your hand or you just scratching your head? Okay. I'm blinding some of you.
It's been on the whole time.
See that white spot?
It's 7:50?
Yeah.
Bro, you didn't even start the 7:45.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes on the boat.
I thought it was 7:20. No. I'm going. Son of a gun.
High power.
Son of a gun. High power. All right, y'all. All right, here, take this off. All right. Now that you're scoring, keep going.
Shut the door. Lock it. We're staying.
So great recruiters, listen, great recruiters are masters at asking questions. If you ask enough of the right questions, folks, you could be selling them juice and they're going to join your business. Why? Because they want to know, can you get me where I'm trying to go? Where are they trying to go? More time and more money. It don't matter what you're doing to get them there. Do you understand that? Okay? It doesn't matter what you're doing to get them there. So you got to become a master question asker, right? So we teach you to do what? Form, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. I can recruit somebody just by doing this. No recruiting questions, no presentation, nothing. I can recruit you straight off this. Okay? So family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Family, pretty simple. You have family in the area, great, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Occupation. So Phil, you're an engineer. Man, what do you love about your job? Write that down. What do you love about your job?
I love working with numbers and trying to figure out the puzzle and how this all works.
Most people will be taken back by that question, and they won't say love. They'll say, well, I like this, but what do you love about the job? Okay, and guess what? When you ask that question, they're going to realize one of two things. I don't love anything about the job. Or they're going to tell you the positives that you need to tie them to on recruiting. Well, I love people. Okay, I'm building my arsenal of how to recruit you. You're giving me the ammunition to recruit you in the questions. What do you love about it? What did it take you to be great at what you do? What did it take you to be great at what you do? Well, I went to school and I worked with, man, you probably were one of the hardest workers there, right? Wow, that's awesome. Are you competitive, Jeff? Oh, you seem like that. You seem like you really... And so I'm finding out what makes this guy or this gal tick and this question of what do you love about what you do? What would you change about it if you could, Denise? What would you change if you were in charge? Or what do you dislike about it? Okay, normally it's some form of time or money. Well, I don't like this, I don't like the leader, I don't like, right? And I'm going to get them talking. Well, what would you do differently? How would you change that if it were up to you? What would your ideal salary be? If you said, man, if they would pay me this, I feel really great about it. When's that going to happen, Denise?
When I come to Primerica.
Okay, I've never had somebody answer that like that, right? Okay, but she says, let's say she says 80, she's making 50 now, 80. So what do you need to do there, Denise, to make that number happen for you?
Never gonna happen.
Yeah, so you just don't even really think it's possible.
No, it's
okay,
not.
if you could have the possibility of making that, I'm sure you'd be interested in some other ways to be able to do that if you could, right?
Sure.
So I'm foreshadowing a little bit, right? So I'm asking her, what do you love about it? What do you dislike about it? And I'm going to get her talking. I'm exposing the nightmare. I'm exposing the nightmare. Remember, everybody's wearing a facade. I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. Get them talking about what they would like to change, and all of a sudden they're going to realize I'm not doing fine. I'm not doing great, right? Okay. Family, occupation, recreation. Okay, Callie, what do you guys like to do for fun?
We don't really have time for fun. We're both working all
Wow.
the time. Never see each other.
So that's probably not what you thought it was going to be like when you got married, huh? You thought you'd be able to do some. What would you like to do for fun if you have more time?
We both have kayaks that are brand new. For 2 years, we used them once.
Okay, where do you like to go kayaking?
Like St. Clair.
Okay, so close, right? So it doesn't even take that much time, just being able to call off or
We can
take
see
it.
the water from our house.
Right, okay, wow. Right, so that time is tight, huh? Okay. So what's your plan to get more time right now, Callie? Doing what you're doing.
I have no idea. I'm not really qualified for anything else.
Okay, very good. If I could help you get control of your time, and you could make what you're making now or more than you're making now, and be able to do that when you wanted to, you'd have some interest in that then, I'm assuming, right? Okay, so I'm finding their hot buttons, and I'm exposing that nightmare, and then I'm showing them there's a better way, there's a better way, there's a better way, there's a better way. They've thought that 100 times. There's got to be a better way. They've thought that, but they're just not doing anything about it, right? Okay, so what would you do if, so I asked her, what do you like to do for fun? And so I might follow that up with, well, Callie, are you doing as much of that as you'd like? Right? So she told me no in that case, right? But they might say, well, I like to do this, and I like to do this, and I like to do this. Or are you doing as much of it as you'd like? Why not? What do you feel like would need to change in your current job to be able to get you to the point where you could do that more often? How does it make you feel, Callie, that you're not able to do the things you like? You're working hard, but you're not even really able to do the things that you really want to do. How's that make you feel?
Terrible.
If you could change that, you would, right? Well, that's what I'm going to help you do. If you get involved with me, I'm going to help you change that. You understand? So recruiting is almost an art form in the beginning, right? So we've got a process, which apparently we're going to go through next week. We've got a process that if you miss this, the process will scoop up a percentage of reasonably motivated people, right? Yes or yes? Yeah. You give those recruiting questions to 100 people, most of them are going to answer them right, okay? But this is this is the art form. This is what being a great recruiter is about. What do you want, Jeff? And why can't you have it? and I can help you get it if you'll come with me. Are you recruiting people to you? Are you recruiting people to their dreams? Are you recruiting them away from the nightmare, or are you recruiting them to Primerica? They don't care about Primerica. They care about, can I have what I want? Santi, you're a nurse, right? Or okay, so you make pretty decent money compared to most people. Why are you sitting here right now? What is it about Primerica that says, I'm going to leave my job and my family, I could do anything in the world, but I'm going to come here and learn?
Well, first time, I work 5-6 days a week, basically before.
Okay.
And of course the money.
Okay.
More for the family, 3 kids, you know. I want more kids, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure Primerica is going to help you. That's your job, brother. Although, Sandy, listen, you go 10 by 10, she might be looking at it and be like, man, Sandy's a stud. But time. So no, watch, now watch. So doing what you're doing now, you're saving money. Have you figured out, if you don't have Primerica income, when can you stop?
I don't think I will ever stop.
Okay. Now watch. You got one life. You got a certain amount of time. You got kids at home. You want more kids. And you can't stop. You can't stop.
Need more time with the kids.
Right.
And wife.
And, okay, good. Not more kids. More time with the wife.
And the more kids. Plus your sperm count goes up when you quit your job.
But look, everybody wants that. Every person you work with, Santi, wants that. You can give that to them here. Well, what if they don't do it? But what if they do? Right? What's your chance of being able to retire in 3 years from the income you're making nursing? 0. At least a shot is better than no shot.
Amen.
Do you understand that? You got to get yourself sold on, I have the greatest thing in the world, and if they don't do anything with it, that's on them, but it's my job to show them why they could and why they should, and bring them to people that have done it that can show them the way. Our job isn't to motivate people, y'all. Our job is to find motivated people, like Sandy, say, hey, look, I'm willing to trade a little time now for a bunch of time later. Do you understand? So I'm talking to Sandy about what he wants. Okay, are you recruiting them to what they want, to you being able to get them what they want, to get out of what they don't like, because people are motivated by what? The avoidance of pain or the pursuit of pleasure. Okay? So it's causing you some pain that you're not being able to be with your family as much as you'd like, right? It might be more pleasurable for you to do that. Are we talking to them in that language, right? Because listen, people make decisions, what? Emotionally, and then they justify them logically. They make decisions, what? Emotionally, they justify them logically. Does it make all the sense in the world logically to do this? Yes. Does that mean they're going to do it? No. Right? We got to pull on their heartstring a little bit and show them, hey, life isn't everything you've dreamed about, but it can be if you're willing to do this. But there are people struggling, but that's fine. They're struggling in pursuit of their dream instead of succeeding on a path to nowhere.
Amen.
That was good.
Amen.
Right? My goodness, I'd rather struggle in pursuit of my dream every day than succeed on a path to nowhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You stop and think about that for a second, because guess what? You won't struggle forever. You won't struggle forever. You will get better. And when you get better, you'll get what? Better results. You'll get better results. Okay? So I want to recommend a book to you here before we close. It's called Skill with People by Les Giblin. If you haven't read that, you need to get us a little teeny book. Okay? And Hector Lamarck challenged me to read that 30 times in 30 days. I failed. I read it 22 times. Okay, but I got the gist of it. We're in the people attraction business. We need to figure out how people are motivated, and then we need to talk to them about what's in it for them by working with me. How many of you did I recruit personally? I sat on your recruiting appointment. Okay. So older guys, right? Okay. that have been with me for a while. Not older, but have been with me for a while. Okay. Yeah. I'm an age discriminator, bro. That's what I do. But you might have not had this with me because I was new then. But if you've been recruited by me in the past couple of years, what have I told you? I've sat at the table with you. I said, you'll never find somebody that will work harder for you as I will. And that's true. If you're willing to run with me, I will work harder for you. I'll sit on the phone and listen to your bull crap and get that mindset in you, right? Okay, to help you get to where you're going. Nobody else has done that for you, or you'd be where you wanted to be, right? Okay, I'm willing to bend over backwards to help you if you'll meet me halfway, right? So I'm selling people on what? On me. Let me take you where you need to go. I said, well, Prug, I'm just not that confident yet. Right? Then borrow our confidence. Guess what? You plug in with my team. My team is the fastest team ever to $1 million, and we're about to be the #1 team in the entire company. You plug in with us, you're going to win. Why? Because we're on a winning team. You're not winning yet. Sell the what? The winning team. Why is it important that our team takes #1? So you got something to sell. You understand that? Hey, come on. You talk to a champion and you're not a champion yet. Guess what? Sell them on the championship team. Sell them on a championship coach. Sell them on a dynasty of success, and they will win in spite of you and what you're doing, right? All right, y'all, I think we're done. So we'll all see you next week, right?